We are streaming live at MAB Radio One via TuneIn or Google Play. Visit our website mamghonline.org. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at MamTV Online and subscribe to our YouTube channel Mam Online. This is your Dawa capital.
Allahu Akbar.
Wallahi, Al-Jannah to Firdaus is our limit, inshallah. Amen.
We are streaming live at MAB Radio One via TuneIn or Google Play. Visit our website mamghonline.org. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at MamTV Online and subscribe to our YouTube channel Mam Online. This is your Dawa capital.
I'm Brother Hassan. And you are?
Michael, Pischel.
Pischel?
Yeah.
Alright, can you tell a little bit about yourself?
I'm from Ithaca, New York. Was born there. Worked for waste management for a few years. Then was in the National Guard in New York. Was heavy equipment operator. Then I came in active duty Army at the age of 36.
36? Okay.
Yeah. So now I'm a power generation mechanic. Married, have 2 kids, well, 2 adults. One's 21, the other one's 23.
Okay.
And then been married for 8 years now.
Great. Alright, Brother Michael, can you tell us a little bit about your beliefs, your former beliefs? Do you believe in God? Do you believe in Satanism, whatever it is?
So as far as like former beliefs, I didn't really have like a former...
No religion?
Basically, like no religion really preference, because like I believe there was a God, and I believe that there is a devil.
Okay.
But as far as like any type of religion, then it wasn't like my name wasn't Baptist or Catholic.
So you did not have any religion back then?
No.
But you just believed there was God?
Yes, because I believe that there's a higher power. There, I always believe that. They really found the right belief to find.
Oh, okay. You believe in good and you believe in bad.
Yeah.
You just have to do what you do. Okay. So can you tell us what you knew about Islam?
As far as Islam, I didn't really know too much about it. As far as like, like the belief of it, of Islam. I know that they worship one God, but as far as the organization of it.
Yeah. So we didn't know the basics, or you knew. So what you knew about Islam was what CNN, BBC, and.
I try not to go by like what the news say, because sometimes the news is more political nowadays.
Okay.
And they kind of blow the stuff out of proportion.
So did you believe Islam was a terrorist organization? Was it full of a bunch of terrorists?
No, because you can't always judge what a few people might do for everybody else. There's always going to be someone that might be doing something bad, and people are just gonna like, everybody, like everybody's like that. So like, kind of then it starts building up that stereotype, and then they all think like everybody's like that. And you can't really judge it like that, because common sense. If you got 1.7 billion Muslims in the world,
okay. That makes sense.
Like...
And you can't take just one person's act to generalize it for everybody.
Yes. Yeah.
That's great. So you had a clear mind about Islam, but you didn't know much about it.
No. So I didn't try to judge it on like what was going on in the media, or what, like generally how like a lot of people might stereotype it.
Okay. Nice. So now to the big question, the main question is, tell us your journey to Islam. How did you end up being a Muslim? Before you come to that, I know the first time I saw you in the mosque,
yeah,
I saw you sitting in the back on the Jummah day, we were about to pray. I saw you sitting there in the chair.
Yes.
That was the first time I saw you here.
Yeah.
So the next week I saw you in the ranks with us, praying with us. So that was so, heartbreaking. I was so happy to see you. Because the first time I saw you sitting in the back looking at us pray. So I was asking myself, who is this brother, man? But the next week, the following week, I saw you in the ranks with us, in the South, praying with us. So can you tell us about your journey to Islam? How did you end up being a Muslim?
So I was kind of like, so I'll start from like the beginning, like where, like I believed in, God, and, and I believe that there is a devil. And so when I was going to like, the term that they use here is kind of like church shopping.
Church shopping, or just trying to shop. Okay, find the best church for yourself.
Yeah, so I went to like different churches, different religions, and I couldn't find like what I didn't feel anything like, like not to criticize anybody's religion.
Yes. But you're just trying to find the best religion for yourself.
Yes.
So which other churches did you try?
I tried went to like a Orthodox church, like a Greek Orthodox. I went to a Catholic church. I went to a Baptist, Mormon church.
Mormons, okay.
I went to Scientology church. They're a little way off.
Oh, I've never heard of that before.
You don't want to know. They believe in aliens or something, but.
Oh, really? They believe in aliens?
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
And do they use the same Bible as other Christians? They have their own Bible.
They kind of, you have to, with the Scientology, you have to pay to get more knowledge.
Do you pay like in monetary terms?
Yeah, you pay money. So like, if you want to move up with more knowledge in the church, you have to pay money. So it's
to the church or to the pastor?
To the church.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so then you become like, they give you a little bit more knowledge. So it's kind of like...
Oh, so you got to pay for knowledge. If you don't pay, you don't get knowledge. You become ignorant of what was going on.
Yes.
Oh, God, that's funny.
Yeah. So that was kind of like, like you should... Because I always believe, like, I believe that God doesn't have secrets. Like, why should you have to pay money?
To get the knowledge or to get a secret.
So I just kind of walked away from that one. But I didn't really felt like... there was something there.
Okay.
As far as like the churches or anything. So I deployed to Afghanistan last year, and I seen like the place that I was at, we were kind of like near Pakistan, and then there was like a village below, and then like pretty much like the other group was out in the distance, and so it was kind of like, how's these people like living their everyday life, and it's like a war zone right there.
They live in the war zone, but they're still comfortable.
Yeah, and so I was kind of like that, kind of like I was kind of interested about that, and we did interact with some of the villagers and stuff like that, but it was like they had a belief,
Okay.
so they believed in there was like something that was like kept them going, like a higher power.
Yes.
And so I didn't really learn too much about Islam or really about like their belief, but I knew like there was something there.
Yes.
And so I come back to the States.
How long were you in Afghanistan for?
9 months.
9 months? Okay.
Yeah, so from October 2017 to June of 2018.
Okay, so came back. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so when we came back, people were like, pretty much like everybody's just the same. Like I find in like especially in the army, there's not a lot of belief. Like there's a lot of people that don't
believe in God. They don't really have a religion.
Yeah,
I have so many friends. What? I don't have no religion. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in anything.
Yeah.
So if you ask me, so why are you living? Well, I'm just living because I'm living.
Yeah.
That's what they tell you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I always do like, there's like, you always go somewhere after you die.
Oh, so you believe in life after death?
Yes. So I do believe that there is something there. But like, I also believe that God gives you a choice.
Okay. That's a free will.
Yeah, it's free will. So you're responsible for what you do. You're responsible for your actions.
Okay.
I believe that.
So nobody's gonna die for your sins.
No.
So nobody has to come and die for your sins for you to go to heaven. But you have to die for your own sin.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So I believe that you're responsible for your own actions. And you have to answer to that sometime.
Okay.
Somehow. So when I started reading, so I just came across, I went to Barnes and Nobles. I came across in the religious section, where they had the Quran, different so I started reading it a little bit, and so I was like, there's something to this, it was, so I, just started reading it a little bit, and then, I said, okay, let me Google a mosque here.
Okay.
So I saw there was a mosque in Syracuse, and I went down there and checked it out, talked to some of the people there, and you kind of feel like there's this brotherhood there, and you kind of...
There's a cohesion.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everybody welcomes you, there's no oh, hey, you want to join, this coffee hour, do you want to do that? They're not trying to sell you something. Or you have to do this for the church and all this other stuff. So I talked to him. It was just pretty much, talked to some of the brothers that were down there. And then I came here and I, talked to a couple of the brothers here. Then I was sitting in the chair that one day.
Yeah, that was the day I saw you.
Yeah. And I was just kind of checking it out. I could never figure why, why they have to pray 5 times a day, So there was a lot of questions, but I wanted to know the reasons,
Yes.
the reasons why, not, and just trying to be biased about the subject. So, I was seeing the other brothers pray and stuff like that. So I went back and checked some YouTube videos. I know YouTube is not really a good reference point, but there was I saw both sides.
Both good and bad sides as people post on YouTube.
Yeah. So there was a lot of the, people were talking about negative stuff, but they wasn't educated on the subject. Yes. Yeah. So I was watching some of the other videos, and it's then I kind of read about it a little bit, and then so I decided to it's better. I saw that there's a belief in one God. There's a belief in one God. There's no associations with it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no you have to. I'm trying to think of the word for it. There's no oh, you have to do this for the church, or like in Catholic, there's all this different dogmen, or rules, and all this other stuff that it's not even in their Bible, but something that the church made up.
Oh, so the church made it up and they acted upon it.
Yeah,
it's never from the Bible, so it's a man-made thing.
Yes, because I did read the Bible myself, and there's nothing in there where it says you have to pray to dead saints, or you have to pray to this or that, and it's kind of and then when you read more about it, it's kind of when you pray to a dead saint, it's kind of like a form of paganism.
So one way or the other, they're practicing paganism, worshiping other than God. Like the Bible says, do not worship another God before me.
Yeah,
they're doing that.
Yeah. So that's just my opinion on that, because it's if you believe in one God, and there's that's where I found with Islam, there's just the one God, but there's no
partners.
Yeah, there's no socialization.
No partners for him.
Yeah, and
It's just one.
Just one, and so, and then you're accountable for your actions.
You're accountable for what you do.
Yes.
Nobody got to die for you. You got to die for yourself.
Yes.
You got to carry your own cross, right?
Yeah.
Great.
And yeah, it's like even in it's just like when I went to like the certain churches, they add on like their own book to it, or they add on their own rules and stuff like this, and it's kind of like, all right, where does this stuff come from?
Okay.
And when you trace it back, it's just kind of like
it's a made up thing.
It's a made up something that was made by man himself, So that's why where I found with Islam is just you just have the Quran, you have one God, and you pray your 5 times a day. And I'm still learning a lot, because I'm fairly new. But as far as asking questions and stuff like that, it's always been helpful.
Okay. So the short of it, you came to Islam because of believing in one God.
Yes.
And just the Quran, and there's no man-made style infused into it.
No.
And you are responsible for your actions.
Yes.
Nobody's going to die for your sins.
Right.
So this made you become a Muslim.
Yes. And what was good about it is because it was something it's kind of hard to explain, but something was pointing me to this way. I would say
you were seeking for the truth.
Yeah, because nobody here sold me Islam. Nobody
came to you preaching about Islam.
No.
You came to it.
Yes.
So that's God directed you to Islam.
Yes.
You said. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So, can you recollect the feeling you had when you took your Shahada? When you became officially a Muslim?
Oh, that was good. So at first, the first part of it, I was kind of nervous. Not doubtful, but just nervous about it. And then, I did my Islam, and then I did after that. One of the brothers greeted me and stuff like that.
A lot of hugs and
yeah. Oh yeah, and I felt and then I did my prayers, but just with all that, I felt a lot of relief was not there anymore.
You felt like you had a relief from the burden that you used to carry all the days of your life.
Yeah. So just with I used to be a really negative person, especially the army lifestyle and some of the stuff that leaderships do, and then not really believing, like I said, believing in God, but not having that true belief.
Oh, okay.
Not I would be yeah, there's a God, but that was about it.
Okay. But all you knew was there was God, but as to what the God was, you don't know. You didn't care about that. All you knew there was God.
Yes. So after that, I kind of felt a lot of that relief, and then I started to be more calmer, more positive about things in life.
Oh, that's great. Well, this is another hard question. Have you had any challenges from your family and friends because they're Muslim? Is there any stigmatization? Are they leaving you out?
As far as family, my wife is from the Philippines, so she grew up in kind of I would say in two worlds as far as religion, because her mom's Muslim. Well, no, her mom was Catholic. Let me rephrase that. Her mom was Catholic when she was growing up, and then her mom converted over to Islam later on in her years. So my wife kind of got being raised up Catholic, and then
not about Islam.
Yeah, and so when I told my wife about it, my wife was glad about it. As far as my kids, they were kind of questioning about it, but not really negative, but they were just oh, why? And then once I told them the reason why, they were understandable. So as far as family, there was a lot of support, even with like my family here, you know, my mom and stuff like that. There was a lot of support there. Friends, you know who your real friends are when.
Okay, I get that.
Yeah. So so in that work, when I changed my religion on my on the ERB and all that stuff, and then when I went to, like, some people were like, started the jokes, the stereotypes.
Tell them to start the jokes.
Yeah, like they're like, how like some people will be like making jokes, but they don't realize, like,
it's a sensitive situation. They're talking about PI, very important issue.
Yeah. So the jokes will be coming in like, oh, what you guys doing on Friday? Y'all learn how to make bombs or stuff. And I'm like, all right. But I learned that instead of arguing with them, I just let them be. I let them be. Like, like if you want to be ignorant about your stuff, go ahead. But as far as I just, because you're not going to change my belief, or you're not going to change who I am.
Just like you said, you are responsible for your own actions. So they are responsible for their actions, and you cannot listen to them and change your belief.
Yeah. And I always grew up, there's a saying that you never knock yourself down to someone else's level.
Okay.
So, you have to be, it's harder because you have to carry yourself. Like, as soon as you get mad or you start taking action against someone who's trying to stereotype you, then that just shows like, oh, we can get to this person now. We can get this person mad because we're making these jokes.
Yes.
So you have to be a lot smarter than them, and you have to stand you gotta stand your ground.
Yes.
You have to stand your ground. You can't back away, but you have to be
smart
and not don't get on the same level.
Don't bow down to them, but don't get the same level with them.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes you can walk away from a fight,
but that doesn't mean you're weak.
No.
Yes.
But yeah.
So for the friends, the most important thing is the family. If you have a family support, I don't care about friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't really care about friends. So I think this question when you answered it in your journey to Islam, I was trying to ask you what difference do you see between Islam and the other beliefs?
The difference I see, that's a good question because I see like with Islam and Christianity, there's the belief in one God. The difference I see is that Islam is not broken down into different fractions.
Okay.
Like with Christianity, because like Christianity, that covers like, last time I checked, there's like thousands of different types of Christianity.
Okay.
And each one of them is like, it's not even different on how they worship. It's different rules and different, like the Catholic Church will have all the saints and stuff like that.
And the Bible, even they have 77 books, and the other people have 66 books.
Yes.
Okay.
And then there's like, you'll have the Mormons over here with their Bible, and then
their saints.
Yeah, then they will have the Book of Mormon.
And the Seventh-day Adventists, they got their own Bible too.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different versions of one book. And even the different versions, there's like some similarity to it, but
there are differences.
Yeah, there are differences. And then they also like have different, like the different versions, the different books. But when you go to like a Baptist church, and they're talking about like, all these people are going to hell, blah 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 blah. They're already making judgments against people. And then, like, you could go to a Catholic church and it's like, oh, it's all right, you can do this, 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 and this. Then you go to a universal church that's like, oh, you can live this lifestyle. You can do this. You can commit these sins. but everything be okay, and then you'll have like the Mormons, and they'll have like their separate book that they consider, and then they don't even consider like so they believe in God and Jesus, right?
Yes.
But they believe in some guy named Joseph Smith.
Yeah, that's the Mormons, right?
Yeah, the Mormons,
Yes.
and they think like this guy is like the most he's more holier than
The holiest of men.
yeah, even God himself.
He's holier than God himself.
Yeah, it's kind of like it contradicts. There's a lot of contradictions into what they believe. So that's the problem I see with Islam. Well, not the problem, but the difference between Islam and Christianity. Because Islam, you just have
Just one Quran.
one Quran
And one God.
and one God.
And we believe in all the prophets.
Yeah,
We don't believe the prophets. We don't worship the prophets.
no,
We respect them as messengers of God, like Jesus Christ, Noah, Ishmael, Isaac.
Yeah.
And we do not bow down to any of them. But when you go to Christianity or the other religions, like you said, they bow, they worship. Like you said, they think Joseph Smith, you said?
yeah, Joseph Smith, yeah.
He is more holier than God.
Yeah, and they believe in it. Yeah, and it's just kind of like, that's the problem with Christianity, is that Christianity started off the right way, okay?
Okay.
But over the centuries, people changed it.
Okay.
I think they lost the original message
Okay.
of even what the prophet Jesus is saying at that time. So I don't think I respect Jesus. I believe in what his message was.
Yes.
But I think with Christianity over the years, there's so many different Christianities that they lost track of the original message. Like what? And honestly, like a lot of people, there's a term what they call cherry picking.
Or cherry picking?
Yeah. So a lot of people, like I know some Christians that will read the Bible back from front to back, and they know like they can tell you verses and stuff like that, but very few.
Very few.
And the ones that are kind of like, they just have this person up here and they like, okay, yeah, this is what this says. Okay, go to this chapter over here and then and they do all this like running around the Bible, but no one reads like the whole
Bible.
The whole Bible.
We have in Islam, we have kids. They can memorize the whole Quran.
Yeah.
And that's wonderful,
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, I find that there's a lot of discipline too, because like with some churches I've been to, like people just come on Sunday, worship, blah blah blah,
And that's it.
and then, but with like to be a Muslim. You just like, oh, I just said this, and now I'm a Muslim. Now you have to do like, your 5 prayers, and it's kind of, being fairly new is, you got that discipline. Like, okay, there's this time, pray.
Everything is structured. There's time and place where to be.
Yeah, and so that I kind of like that because it gives you a purpose to do something.
So you're always relying on Almighty God, that you can't do anything without Him.
Yes.
Because He's your creator, so you depend on Him to live, to survive.
Yes.
So right now we are in Ramadan, we are fasting. How is the fasting going?
The fasting is going good. So this would be my first Ramadan. Still learning a lot about it. I will say the first week, yes, the first week was kind of rough. Because it was like, I'm from like 3 to 4 o'clock in the morning. You eat a little bit, and then after that time you're like, okay, I can't eat till like 8:30 at night, and you're like, okay, I still gotta do my 5 prayers.
So you gotta do all your daily routine work, everything.
Yeah.
Honestly, nothing changes. You can't just fast and go and sleep.
No. So and then I'm still like doing my regular work day, And, you know, it's like, you know, after PT, it's like, man, I'm just going to get a drink of water. No, I can't. You know, like.
So what time when you say PT, or let our viewers know what PT is? What is it? What is the morning life like?
Morning life is
like the army life, right?
Yeah. So army life is like we get up in the morning. We do.
How early is it?
So I usually get up at about 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And that's I've always been doing that anyways, because from driving to the army base, and then so it's like 6 o'clock to about like 6:30. Everybody forms up, formation. Then we go out and do our physical training. Okay. So sometimes we can run like, you know, maybe it's a Monday, and we're running like 3 miles.
Oh.
Or 3 to 4 miles.
So you're doing all this in the Ramadan too?
Yes. So yeah, so we'll run that, and then we'll go back. We do that for about like an hour, and then we'll come back. We'll do our personal hygiene, then we'll come back to work. And then, so like at 9:30 in the morning, we're all at work and we're fixing equipment, you know, other tasks that needs to be done for the military. And, you know, as a sergeant in the Army, you know, I got soldiers that take care of, and then, you know, make sure that, you know, do all their stuff and make sure that they're busy. So I'm kind of like a manager in a way. And
you're kind of a babysitter, babysitting your soldiers.
Yeah, pretty much. And then after you know, the day's done, you know, like I go home, and then I have to do, because I'm doing college work now, I'm on my last 2 classes, so I go back home and I'm doing college work, and then pretty much after that.
Oh, that's great. So Ramadan is good, the fasting is good. So I mean, physically, how do you feel about it? Do you feel like kind of punishment, or you think it's worth it?
So as far as like, I don't think it's a punishment, because, you know, if you're not used to doing something and you're going to do something at the beginning, it's going to be different. You know, like the first week, I started getting little headaches, so I started to get like hungry pain and stuff like that. But then I learned to eat a lot better at night instead of going to Burger King and eating. So just so like the first week was rough.
And now, how do you feel?
I feel actually good, because it kind of tests you in a way.
So it's a test.
Yes, I think it's like a test in a way, and it also makes you feel like how that there are other people in the world that, you know,
who are hungry,
are going hungry.
How to feel it? How it feels like when you're hungry.
Yes,
really?
And it's also a test in a way too, because like, especially with my first time, you know, like, man, I just wanted to just go to the water fountain and just take a little sip. It shouldn't hurt. You know, so it's kind of like a test.
Everybody's watching, man. No, you said God is watching.
Yeah. And then it's a test, because like, you know, you have to, like, you always know that God's watching. You know, so you know.
You can go somewhere, hide, go to some restaurant.
Yeah. You can hide it from the world, but
you can't hide from God.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So it's a test, and you know, it's also a learning experience too. And physically, after like the second week, I started becoming actually more, I wouldn't say more smarter, but more organized in the way that I was doing things. Oh. So like, it kind of felt like, okay, I was doing more stuff, like, okay, I could do, instead of doing all my schoolwork in one day, I can stretch it out. And, you know,
so now you become more organized.
Yeah, more organized. And I felt like there's, you know, clearer way of thinking. And some stuff, like, you know, when, you know, like you have we got to do a lot of this stuff, and now used to be like, this is dumb. So I learned how to like be more calmer and be more clear thinking. Like, okay, we'll just do it, get it done, then it's over.
Yeah, well, that's great. That's great. So this is another question that is just similar to what you just said. So what are the challenges you find in Islam? Now as a new Muslim, do you have any challenges?
Yeah, I think there's always going to be, I wouldn't say really a challenge.
Yeah, okay.
I think there's always more, you're always going to learn.
So there's more room for improvement.
Yes, there's
You're
always.
still learning.
Still learning. Still need to get more knowledge, and understand more about Islam and more, because it's a life experience, and it's not something that like, oh yeah, here you go, you know everything now. So there's always and there's going to be times where you might go through a rough period, but now I know that there's always someone there to
It's all just like a test. You said it's not part of the test.
Yes,
it's all part of the test. Okay. So what do you have to tell the not yet Muslims? I wouldn't say non-Muslims, because you never knew you were going to be a Muslim.
No.
You didn't think of that.
No.
So I wouldn't want to say non-Muslims, but I still call them not yet Muslims, because God can make them become Muslims. So what message do you have for people who are not yet Muslims?
My message would be is that don't get into all the stereotyping. Don't watch, you go watch the news regardless, but just make your own, get yourself educated.
Yes, educate yourself.
Educate yourself first. Read about the subjects. Read about the subject of Islam. Learn it. Talk to other people that are Muslims. And then learn, and then base your own opinion and be biased of what you're learning about, and then base your own opinion on that. Just don't rely on someone else's opinion and make it your own opinion because, I watched it on the news, or I listened to some, talk radio host on radio saying this and this and this. You have to draw your own opinion. Your own opinion. Just like if you're doing schoolwork, and in the class of mythology, you read everything, and then you just,
Yeah, so you don't need to. Someone else's explanation of Islam, you don't have to take it. You need to go to Muslim.
Yes.
You have to get the explanation from the Muslim himself.
Yeah.
Not somebody who's not a Muslim trying to tell you what Islam is.
Yes.
That should be wrong.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, because when you talk to the people that are actually practicing the religion, the Muslims, and you talk to the community, you'll realize that it's not as bad as they make it out to be.
Yes.
Because they're just there's a lot of Muslims that are just like everybody else. Just living everyday life, and
All right, getting to the end of the interview, what message do you have for everybody? You're telling everybody in general.
I think my message is to everybody is that if you believe that there's a higher power, go out and search it and find it. And do your research, because there is a God. There is a Allah. And there is a shaitan.
So there's God and there's Shaitan, and whatever you do, you account for it.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna die for you.
Yeah. It's like an old saying goes, you're based on your character, your actions, your mouth, what you say come out of your mouth, what you think. Everything is accountable what you do as far as actions.
All right. Your interview is gonna be aired on Facebook, definitely by a radio station called MAM Online Radio in Ghana.
Yeah.
So what do you have to tell them? Mostly you're going to be viewed a lot in Ghana and worldwide. So
yeah,
what do you have to tell these young, vibrant youth who are trying to make dawah very, very interesting and very possible to reach everybody in the world, to reach out to anybody, wherever you are? The name is MAM, which is Muslim Access Movement. So they abbreviated form is MAM.
Okay.
So just say something to them, tell them, what do you have for them? What message do you have for them? When they are doing good, great work, they are trying to spread Islam, let people know what Islam is.
Okay. So Islam for me was, once I became a Muslim, my life changed. My life became better as far as, all the bad things that were going on inside my head, being negative. And
Hold on, before that, did you used to drink?
no, I never
You
drank.
never drunk?
No.
That's great. All right, continue.
So I used to do smoking, dipping. I used to.
People wouldn't know what dipping is. Can you just...
Okay. Dipping is kind of like chewing. It's like tobacco. You put in your mouth and you spit.
That's all.
Yeah, and it's real disgusting. It's a real disgusting habit. I used to do that. I used to be, a womanizer. So, I'm not perfect. Nobody in this world is perfect. We all make mistakes. But once I became once I become a Muslim, I learned that what I was doing was bad. What I was doing was hurting my wife, hurting my family, and I wasn't being true. So once I became Muslim, I knew that what I was doing was bad. That my actions wasn't just hurting me, it was hurting other people. It's like throwing a pebble into the pond and you got ripple effects. So every bad decision, every good decision you make is going to have ripple effects on everything, on anybody around you. So once I became Muslim, and once I got closer to Allah and started reading the Quran and became part of the community, my life started changing for the positive. I learned to become still learning to become a better person, but more spiritually at the same time.
All right. Thank you so much, Brother Michael.
Okay.
And may Allah increase you in faith, and both of us, and Brother Adnan right there.
Right.
And one more, what I have for you is keep learning.
Yes.
You gotta learn. The more you learn, the more you know.
Yes.
We are still learning. So I'm praying that one day you'll be giving dawah to people.
No.
For people to come to Islam. Because the more you know, because you are not, though we were born a Muslim, but you became later on joined another religion. Because we believe everybody is born a Muslim.
Yes.
Because nobody was born with sin.
Mm-hmm.
So in Islam, there's nothing like original sin.
Yes.
Nobody was born without sin.
Yeah.
But as you keep growing, then you become sin, you start to sin.
Yes.
So my advice to you is take good care of your parents.
Yeah.
So when your parents know that Islam is good, they will join you.
Yeah.
And you will make them know that Islam is very good. Because the way you treat them, because the Quran says, do not treat your parents in any way bad.
Yes.
Treat them so good. And they will join you in your religion.
Right.
Thank you so much for being here, and may Allah increase you in hidayah and increase us too.
Right.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
We are streaming live at MAB Radio One via TuneIn or Google Play. Visit our website mamghonline.org. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at MamTV Online and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mam Online. This is your Dawah Capital.